Hi, and thanks for watching. In this video, I want to look at training coiling power with Bagua using the posture Yin Yang Fish. So this is one of the 8 key postures, especially in yezhang style, though other styles also have the same Yin Yang Fish posture. And we'll look at some of the important facets of doing this posture correctly. We'll also look at the associated technique, the yezhang, the inserting palm, and analyze how it's useful for training this coiling power that's so characteristic of Bagua. First, the actual posture and circle walking. So Yin Yang Fish refers to the Taiji symbol that most people know, where there's sort of one half of a circle that's a teardrop shape that's dark with a white dot in the middle, and then a white fish on the opposite side with a black dot. So that's the Yin Yang or Taiji symbol, and this posture, if you viewed from above, has some similarities to the way that symbol looks. More important is the posture and how it's training this coiling technique or coiling ability in the body. In other words, how to use this rotational movement through the sinews and tendons to coordinate movement and to transfer power. And so if we look at this posture, there's sort of 3 main things to keep in mind as we do the posture itself. In the training sequence, at least for yezhang style, first posture is double hands pressing downwards, or the bear posture. So developing this vertical alignment through the body, arms and shoulders pressing down, torso lifting up, shoulders set down. So finding this root and then building an upright base from it. Second posture, here, the crab posture, or the ramming posture, here, or double shove posture, of course, is for developing that forward extension power while setting the body back. Right? And then from there, having developed those or trained those 2 key directions, then we hit the third one, which is this one, the Yin Yang Fish. Right? So Yin Yang Fish is one where it's not simply forward and back, but it has this coiling that comes through. And first, and the important key thing that we're training is this rear hand position. This is a position of the hand, which most martial arts tries to avoid like crazy, right? Because this is a vulnerable position for the arm and hand to be in. So Bagua is interesting in that it actively trains being comfortable in this posture, in this position of the arm, and finding ways so that when the arm comes into this place, that it's still able to be useful, to move, to not get jammed, and to find ways to direct force. And so this is part of the key training that this posture is emphasizing. So it's that idea that from the forward extension, we also have this rear extension. This rear extension is one which then makes the arm no longer vulnerable and also trains us to have a flexibility with our body positioning, so that from this position behind us, it no longer is behind us and becomes a place where there's a possibility to extend and find an attack. So first key thing in terms of understanding this posture is understanding the rear arm. Right? The position of the rear arm is one where instead of the shoulder rolling forward, we want to make sure that the shoulder stays open. When we're doing the training at the beginning, it's, as far as I'm concerned, it's okay to have the hand not at the midline but a little bit behind us and low, and gradually work our way to have the arm come further behind and have more of that rounded quality. Right? At the beginning, if we try and do that before the shoulder has a chance to develop this training and posture, then all we'll end up with is training the shortening of the tendons and ligaments at the front of the shoulder. What we want instead to be training is this open setup through the shoulder and a setting down through the shoulder blade, right? So that we have that. And if it facilitates that to start with having the hand a little bit to the side and a little bit behind us, or a little bit to the side and behind us, that's a good starting point, but it's not where we should end up. We want to end up with hands front to back, pressing in equal measure. So first thing is being aware of this positioning of the rear shoulder, and secondarily how that relates to the positioning of the rear hand. After that, in terms of this posture, it's the forward hand and forward shoulder, and making sure that as this arm is up, that it doesn't have the shoulder rise up too. The shoulder sets down. So this relates back to the training of the first two postures, which help find that structure through the shoulder blade and maintaining that structure as we bring the arm into this position. So one hand directly in front, one hand directly behind, but then from there, one hand in front, one hand behind, and then from there, this rotation through the torso to bring us turning in towards the circle. So this is the other aspect of this posture, which of course is a rotational training. The rotation is something that happens, of course, from the arms in non-rotated, non-coiled posture. The posture is not something from here where we do this, right? The arms are turned so that the palms turn out, so that there's a rotation through both arms, outward, palms facing outward. And that press forward and back then translates to an opening across the shoulders. From that connection, front to back across the shoulders, we also have this rotation through the torso. And with that rotation through the torso, then we end up with, of course, a rotation through the lower legs, through the lower limbs. And so, especially this becomes more beneficial or more pronounced, more emphasized, if we move from a high stance to a medium stance or a middle stance or lower. And so from there, then we get to find and train the body to become adapted and comfortable within this kind of coiled posture. Right? It's something where the coil happens either in the cross-aligned stance, right? An elbow stance here. So the turning into the center of the circle, which is over to this side here. And of course, in an aligned stance here. Both of them, we're alternating between these two stances, both aligned and cross-aligned, with each step. That changes how the forces work through the legs and how that gets transmitted through the body. Though the essential thing is to find this coiling posture, and the coiling that is equal in terms of coiling through the arms, coiling through the torso, and coiling through the legs. So that is the key things in terms of the posture. The third part, of course, is then from the coiling, uncoiling, and using that to give us our technique. So in this case, what we're looking at is the inserting palm, which is from here, we step in, come through. There's the inserting palm here, this downward press, and this uncoiling that happens from turning in the lead leg, front leg, and then from here, this uncoiling that happens through. There's the technique there, which is this uncoiling and lowering, settling down press, and then from there, coming through to the other side, inserting a threading palm or spearing palm for good measure. The yezhang, or inserting palm, it's something where it comes from this idea like when you're putting your hands in your pocket, or better yet, your opponent's pocket. You start with your fingertips feeling for where the opening is, right? And then when you find the opening, then you can put your hand through that opening. So from here, with the hand behind us, from here, this is where we're starting to try and find our opening. We use our sense of touch here to sense where the opening is, and from there, find that and insert the power into that strike. This is a downward strike, something that can happen through the waist and the ribs, through to the hip and to the groin. So it's this kind of technique that comes through inserting its power into the opening that's somewhere through this area of the opponent's body. So if we look at the technique itself, coming from Yin Yang Fish here, what we want to do, step in, come into a horse stance and press down, uncoiling from the hip through to the shoulder, to the wrist and the palm here. And then from there, adjust the hands, pull from the front leg, step through for the steering palm or threading palm, and then find our posture on the other side, paying attention to the open of the back shoulder, the setting down of the front shoulder, the turn through the waist, and the coiling that happens through the legs while gripping the ground with the feet. When we found that, then we start our walk to the other side. Same thing on this side here. Step in, uncoil, press, come through, thread, find that posture on the other side, find the coiling, the extension into the front and rear palm, the connection through to the feet, and then from there, walking the circle. Very good. Keep in mind that the essential part is not so much the technique, though that's important to practice. The essential part of the training for developing the coiling power is the walking, right? The circle walking in this particular posture. First on one side, paying attention to the alignment and the extension and the transfer of force and movement when we're transferring from cross-aligned here, albu, to aligned stance, trying to maintain that same coiling connection through the body at all times. Hope this information is helpful for you. Keep training, keep practicing, and take care.